welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I am Agam Vakil. Well, it's turned out to be a very good day and, in fact, a historical one, if you might say so, at least as far as the Nifty is concerned, because it may not have closed above the mark of 12,000, but it has certainly closed at its highest level. And that, of course, is the key takeaway in today's day of trade. Of course, today was also an expiry, and that's the reason why we have seen a lot of churn. So we're going to watch out for those rollover numbers, which I suspect are higher than the previous 3-month average. But we're going to get that data perhaps a little later on in the day. For now, let's talk about the gainers and losers for the Nifty. And we have seen good gains in NTPC, Bharti Airtel, Yes Bank, PPCL, Bajaj Finance, a whole handful of gains coming in for heavyweights like TCS, HDFC, and something like the Kotak Mahindra Bank. That's driving the markets upwards. On the losing end, we do have Sun Pharma, Eicher Motors, and Z Entertainment, along with M&M, which has been downgraded by at least CLSA, and that's the reason why we're looking at some amount of pressure. But momentum towards the gainers in the broader markets, at least as far as the NSE 500 goes, nearly one gainer for one loser, though more gainers in comparison to losers. Just Dial, of course, reacting up as much as 8%, followed by Adani Power reacting to, well, possibly that large growth that we've seen when it comes to its top line. TCNS Clothing, Suzlon Energy, InfoEdge, along with Max India, all advancing in trade. Not too much to speak for in losers, but Navbharat Ventures did decline 9%, followed by NLC India, Gujarat Narmada, and PC Jeweler. We'll be watching out for PC Jeweler as it moves into the last expiry in its futures and options life, at least in the near term. So keep an eye on that one. There is a significant discount when it comes to its June futures. But on that note, let me bring in our markets editor for a perspective here. Neeraj, what are your thoughts for today's trading session?
Well, interesting day of trade, isn't it, Agam? Yesterday we were talking about how it's very difficult to predict or make a case for a big up move, etc., and all of that. But surprise, surprise, on a day like the expiry day, with banks not doing all that poorly, we did well. The HDFC twins participated, for example. So it's a good day of trade. Interested in seeing the nature of the participants seems to suggest that it would have been an FI-led buying and not a DI-led buy number. So we're interested to see what the numbers look like today. But yeah, a bit of a surprise. Not too many people anticipated. Most people on the show suggested that they were surprised by the move and they would be skimming some profits off in the near term in the run-up to the policy. So good move. You take it while it counts if you're a bull. And I think wait for the next few days to figure out what to do next.
Absolutely. Well, Neeraj, thank you for that perspective there. So we watch out for, well, the policy in terms of the event which comes through next week. And besides that, of course, we're also waiting for more news from the new cabinet that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will have. That will, of course, drive governance. But that said, let's talk about stocks and one stock that perhaps two, actually, if I could call it that, stocks that I want to address is West Coast Paper as well as International Paper. And from what we understand is that there is a deal where West Coast Paper will buy about 51 to 60% stake from the promoters of International Paper, APPM, at 275 rupees per share. And this will, of course, trigger an open offer for the balance 25%, which is with the shareholders, that is the public shareholding, and that particular open offer will be floated at 460 rupees per share. Now, we did ask the management as to why there was such a significant discount when it comes to them buying stake from the promoters at around 275 rupees per share, and the management says that this particular buyout will further entail substantial capital expenditure when it comes to one of its units for International Paper, and this will also involve a lot of expenditure in machines, which is why for now, after negotiations, they have come and both parties think that 275 rupees is a fair value. But don't forget, public shareholders are entitled to 460 rupees per share should they wish to, tender their shares for the open offer. 450 rupees to be precise, pardon me for that mistake. But on that note, let's also go get in Sharad Dubey for two other stocks which are in focus today. Sharad, what's on your list today?
Yeah, so the first stock is Apollo Hospitals, which came out with a good set of operational numbers, and the revenues went up almost 16% at around 2,167 odd crore rupees, and the net profit rose by almost 30% at 77 odd crore rupees. Now, if we see the stock reaction, the results did spike the stock up, going up more than 1222 mark, but it was relatively flat. But I would really like to talk about the operation part, of the company. The healthcare service revenue segment went up almost 15% at 1150 odd crore rupees, and the pharmacy segment revenue also went up almost 18% at around 1014 odd crore rupees. Apart from this, Agam, if we see, the management stated that the margin improvement is being done slowly, but it is surely panning out for the company, as it is coming out from the overhang from its prolonged capex cycle of acquisitions and also for new hospitals. Apart from this, the company is still facing a lot of corporate issues, especially regarding the pledge shares. Up next, Alchem Labs came with a good set of numbers, and it was really operational numbers were also good, and the domestic sales, this company is a dominant player in the domestic market, so their domestic sales were also pretty high, as almost 24%. Now if you see the stock reaction, the results came in at around 230, and the stock went as high as 3% in the day and then closed at a high of around 1.8% at 1760 odd rupees. And on the net profit front, it rose by almost 2.5 times to 170 odd crore rupees. And the management, when looking at the whole year basis, they did seem a bit subdued, and they stated that the domestic overall year was impacted by FDC ban and also a weak anti-effective season. And apart from that, international business was really good, as there was a good product launches were seen and the market share gains were seen for the existing products. So all in all, a pharma company, especially dealing in the Indian industry, has performed well, seeing the gloom surrounding the current situation. So all in all, two good stocks performed in the pharma sector.
Fair enough, Charat. We watch out for that one. Thanks for joining us and getting us those details. So the pharma sector in focus. And considering we don't have too many events lined up except for perhaps the RBI policy, that is something that we are going to watch out for, and interest rate sensitive sectors will remain in focus. On that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.